morning, friends. Our chief guest is joining soon. Meanwhile, I would like to welcome you all on this wonderful session, Cashflow Juggling Act MSME Financial Survival Guide. Our today's speaker, we can see him on screen, CA Ankush Jain, who is a founder of eMSME. We welcome you, sir. He is not just a founder of eMSME, he is a managing partner ASBS. He is ex-Big Four, ex-Global Risk Consultant, philanthropist, life coach, entrepreneur, manifester, and so many things to learn from you, sir. We are very grateful that you have accepted our invitation and addressing our today's audience. You are handling already handling a team of more than 500 plus people, and that is commendable. And there is a lot to learn from you. Thank you so much, sir. Uh, Friends, before our today's keynote speaker, CA Piyush Chhajed sir join, would like to play a small video we can say a reel of our today's on the topic of our today's session, impact of section 43BH, which is for the cash flow only, that payment has to be in 45 days. So small video. So this was the first video, and would like to play a second video, which is decoding the 45-day MSME payment rule. The clearance of the confusion. There are so many confusion, but C. Ankush Jain has clarified in a small reel. Would like to inform everyone to watch this as well. So these two reels, who received a great response over Instagram, would like to request everyone uh, to follow the Instagram handle of eMSME, where the knowledge sharing is happening on small schemes, as well as what is latest happening in the MSME sector, which is a very vast sector. So now I would like to request, we have a Sachin Bhai also, Sachin Sethi, who is the co-founder of eMSME. We welcome you, Sachin sir. If you can come on screen, that will be great, sir. And meanwhile, would like to request Ankush Jain sir and Virag Jain to share the screen to have a PPT on the screen so that we can start our today's session. And whenever Piyush Chhajed sir will join, we'll give the platform to him to address the attendees. So, Ankush sir, you can start our today's session. Over to you, sir. Ankush sir, you are not audible.
Yeah, you're mute, I think, your audio. Ankush, we still are not able to hear you.
Paragway, just go into the audio section and try a computer audio.
Hello.
Yes, yes. Please continue.
Okay. The PPT is also visible.
Yes, PPT also visible. Just make it a slideshow mode, then it will be a full visible. Yeah, perfect.
Sure.
Please continue.
So, good evening, fellow chartered accountant and financial professionals. I'm C. Ankush Jain. The topic is, quite easy in everyone's routine's life topic: cash flow. Cash is very integral part of the life, and cash in and cash out is happening on a very routine basis. What happens when we have cash surplus? What do we do with it? That is also one of the concerns which we need to discuss today. And what happens when we do not have sufficient cash? That also become one of the concern. And just to give you a little bit overview about what happened post COVID and what happened throughout the decade also, that 80% of the businesses are unable to survive their businesses. And main reason of them not able to manage the business is because of the cash flow crunch or cash flow crisis. Now, do we say that they do not have sufficient cash, or the cash utilization has not been done properly? So, friends, let's discuss it today. And before discussing it further, I would like to give a great gratitude to Karan Variani, Govind Bhau, Cheshta, Sakshi, and Savitri, who made this presentation done for you. Now, again, beginning from the basics, Cash Flow Juggling Act is not an act, but the action is suggest that we juggle because of the cash flow. So what are the action we supposed to take? Okay, so what is cash flow in simple term? It represents the company's liquidity, or we can divide it into the three parts: the operational cash flow, the investable cash flow, or the financial cash flow. Now, guys, if you will also interact in between, that will allow me more to give the real scenario or the real example. Otherwise, we can also go as per the PPT. So out of these three cash flow, the one cash flow, which is the operating cash flow, is the most important at all. Because whenever we have the surplus cash flow, we either invest in the different market segment like equity or debt or mutual fund or real estate or wherever. But do we supposed to do till the time our business is not really self-sustainable and we do not have sufficient cash flow to expand the business, not only to arrange the cash flow for the routine operation, but as per my opinion and as per my experience, the more and more you keep cash flow to expand the business, the other finance and investing activity follow automatically. Where generally businessmen, especially MSME, goes wrong, that instead of expanding their business and keeping the cash flow for their business, they try to extract cash from those routine business activity and put in the real estate, gold, or any kind of the finance activity. I suggest we should not do it, because as per my experience, again, the revenue or the wealth what can be created by the business can never be created by the finance or investing activity. But I leave that decision and discretion on you guys, so I will be just sharing my experience only over here. Okay, few quote as well, like you all of us must have heard the name of famous author Robert Kiyosaki, who wrote many best-selling book. So he suggested that just as a fisherman must watch the ebb and flow of the tide, a business owner must be keenly aware of the shift in the cash flow. I believe you all understand the meaning of it, that the because of the churning in the business, cash flow fluctuations happens a lot. It's similar to the tides. So if we do not monitor it or analyze it or forecast our cash flow, then only the rational business decision do not happen timely. And the time also had a significant role to play, because the decision delay or earlier may not yield you that result what timely decision can generate for you. Okay, Virag bhai, please correct me if I am going too fast or too slow, so I can course correct.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, sure. Now, the importance of ideal cash flow and working capital management in the business, as I already suggested, that typically business, as per the trend of not only of India or not only of the micro or small or medium segment, but throughout the world, 80% businesses do not survive because of the cash flow crisis or lack of working capital management. Now, why this happens? Virag bhai, if you or Sachin bhai would like to comment anywhere between your views, will be more than welcome. So I would like to keep this an interactive session for all of us to understand better.
Sure.
If you have the one news also, that there are around 1.12 lakhs startup, and last year alone, last 18 months alone, around 12,000 startup who generated VC funds also, they also collapsed. Again, not because of the lack of cash flow, but because of the lack of working capital management. So going too aggressively, unable to forecast, unable to monitor on a frequent basis, will lead businessmen to face those kind of crises which generally should not come into the place. Okay, because seed capital is something which anyone can arrange from the friends, family, or by putting the gold as a deposit or the collateral with the bank. But what is critical is the working capital, which is routine in nature, and month on month it is required for you to generate sustainable cash flow. Now let's understand a little bit more in detail. Like shortfall in cash can lead to the financial crisis, and excess cash also can lead to the opportunity cost. Now whenever we do have excess cash, as I mentioned, as per my experience, that we should not invest in the illiquid, fund like your real estate or the other investment opportunity available. But we always have option to put that into the liquid fund, like equity or the SIP or the mutual fund or the gold as well, can be the liquid option just for the temporary sake. But most of the time you must always think to expand your business and keep expanding over there. Make timely payment to your internal creditors like employees, their PF, the statutory dues, and we must have the zero creditors in balance. Now if we wish to have a zero creditors in place, then obviously our debtors also must support us. Again, if we guys have heard about the MSME Act of 2006, then it was the clear guidelines of the government that every micro and small enterprises must get paid for their services or goods within 45 days. But that provision got violated by all the MSME and large players. So they have generated the huge, float because of that, not making the payment timely. And because they haven't made the payment timely, we say that it's only their fault. No, it's a micro small entity fault as well, because we have allowed that arrangement with them, maybe out of fear or maybe out of greed, and still that fear of greed is prevailing in the market. So lots of micro and small enterprises saying that if we do not, we are opting out of the Udyam registration certificate, because if we not deal with their terms of the large corporate, then they do not wish to have business with us. Guys, try and understand, it is a myth created by only 1% population which want to spoil the entire ecosystem. We have just seen the two videos, and I hope most of us has understood that a circulation of fund is quite visible and happening multiple times. Then through that 100 rupees alone we can generate thousands of rupees. That is the beauty of the churning of the cash flow, churning of the fund. So if you people are not allowing us to do it, the 99% people should raise the voice and should ensure that that provision prevails, 43 BH prevails. If they will pay us timely, we can also give them the cash discount. But while doing only those small steps, our debtors payment can come timely and we can respect them in a much better way. When our cash flow is intact, then we can also ensure that all our obligations are paid timely. And we as an Indian or as an MSME, if we ensure that system, none of the business will face this kind of cash flow issue. We'll also understand the how to monitor or analyze this ecosystem, but this is one of the simplest.
Would like to request you that we have a Piyush Chhajed sir join us, so we
Sure.
welcome Piyush Chhajed sir.
Sure.
We'll start the session after Piyush sir address.
Surely, sir.
We welcome you, Piyush sir. Piyush sir, you are on mute, sir. Yes.
Now it's unmuted. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, please start, Viraj. Thank you. Sorry for the delay. There was some technical issue. I was not able to join from my mobile. Ultimately, I could now reach office and join. Yeah, please.
Thank you, sir. Friends, we would like to welcome CA Piyush Chhajed, sir, one of the finest Central Council member, very hardworking and very knowledgeable, who himself is a speaker, expert on many topics, presently a chairman of Direct Tax Committee, and we can see a wonderful work, sir, you have done. You have already reached the finance ministry and handed over the so many opportunities will arise for the professional what you have done in the recent past. In the few days back only you have met the ministry and you have handed over that what we can see in the new finance bill. So would like to request you to address on our today's special webinar on Cashflow Juggling Act. Would like over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Viraj. Thank you very much. I hope you are able to hear me and I'm audible now.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Perfect.
Thank you once again, Viraj,
for joining us.
Good. Thank you. Good afternoon, Ankush Jain, Sachin ji. Very nice to see you all. And first of all, I should congratulate you all to choosing such a apt topic, which is a very important topic in today's time, where people all are discussing on the cash flows there will be an impact on cash flows to this MSMEs because of the new section coming in, 43 capital B subclause H. Now, because there is an amendment to Income Tax Act, and I've been a Central Council member and a chairman of Direct Tax Committee, I thought it would be appropriate to give me a little background about it. It's very important and what is happening and what Institute is doing about it. So, first of all, as you all know, Section 43, capital B, subclause H, obviously Ankush will be going into details, but as you know, it came to effect already from financial year 23-24. And for the payments which are not made within the due date prescribed under MSME Act, there would be a disallowance. Now, currently, I'm addressing this from a city of Surat. which everybody knows is going to be affected a lot because a lot of MSMEs are situated over here. And today morning itself, I was addressing our Surat branch of ICAI also, and that was also a hot topic over here. That what will be the impact on their cash flows? What would be their impact on tax liabilities? How will they deposit? So a lot of issues were coming up. Now, as far as Direct Tax Committee is concerned and Institute of Chartered Accountants of India is concerned, last week, that is on 24th of April, we had a meeting with CBDT chairman, and that meeting was also joined with the policy people, that is a tax policy team of the CBDT, who decides upon the tax provisions, who makes a presentation to the finance ministry for the upcoming finance act. So in that presentation we had basically gone for submission of pre-budget memorandum. Now this is the pre-budget memorandum which generally we always present before the CBDT prior to budget. This time generally we do it in month of December or January when the budget is expected on 1st February. This time we presented on 24th of April because the budget would be coming after the elections are over. I believe maybe June end or 1st July. It will depend after the new government is formed. Now in this pre-budget memorandum, a lot of suggestions were given. Total 99 suggestions ranging around 120 pages of that pre-budgeted booklet was submitted to CBDT chairman. Generally, they do not allow us, they only take a written representation. But this time we had requested that we would like to make a presentation on why the suggestions are being made, what is the justification, and why the CBDT should consider, and even for that matter, the Ministry of Finance should consider when they are actually making an amendment to the Finance Act, basically. So we made a 90 minutes presentation, and one of the most important changes which were suggested was on 43 capital B subclause H, that is an MSME related. Of course, CBDT also mentioned us that whatever amendments, technically, if you see, we had made a point that actually what has been done for, of course, it is for the benefit of MSME, but this businesses, there is also saying that businesses have been regulated through income tax law, because there were already adequate provisions in MSME Act like interest payment beyond 45 days period, and that interest would be disallowed, but it was not implemented. It is for the first time when the disallowance has been introduced under 43 capital B, people are becoming serious about it. And therefore, Income Tax Act has been always used as a deterrent to see that the people actually comply with the other laws. And that was a round of the discussion. Where CBDT also made us clear that whatever suggestions are coming from you in regard to this amendment, in regard to 43 capital B, we will have to go back to the Ministry of MSME, because Ministry of MSME is who governs this act, who has brought these provisions, and who also wanted to bring amendments in the Income Tax Act. So we will definitely take up this forward with the MSME Act also. And if possible, of course, they're not assured anything, it may be looked into it when the new budget comes in. Before that, there could not be any changes, obviously, as we know very well, because the amendment has been come through the Act, provisions of the Act, and the particular section which has been passed by Parliament. If anything has to be amended, Act has to be amended, which can only be done when Parliament is in sitting. So we cannot expect any relief prior to Parliament sitting, prior to new government being formed. Now, coming on to the suggestions, two important suggestions which we have made it to simplify it, rather than not continuing with 43B subclause H, what we have said is that instead of disallowing 100% of purchases, so if a purchase is of rupees 100, and if you are not making the payment to the supplier within 45 days period, total disallowance of 100 rupees is happening, which is too harsh. That is basically affecting my cash flow. So for an example, 1.5 months purchase, I'm sure Ankush would be covering that. 1.5 months purchases would be completely disallowed, and the tax implication thereon would be 30% thereof, which would be very quite high, and it would be difficult for any business entities to deposit the same. So how would it be? So what we suggested is, let us align this provision also with the other provisions of disallowance, that such as 40 subclause A, subclause 1A, wherein 30% disallowance happens in case TDS is not deducted or deposited before due date of filing the return. So if TDS is not deducted on the principal amount of 100 rupees, the disallowance is not 100, but disallowance is 30 rupees. So tax impact on 30 would be another 30%, for an example, 9 rupees. So that was the one important suggestion which has been made. Second important suggestion was that in case the payments has been ultimately made up to due date of filing the return. So if I'm filing, if the tax financial year is, say for an example, previous year is for financial year 23-24, and if I've not been able to pay within 45 days, I'm not paying it before 15th May for a bill of 31st March also. But if it has been paid before filing my return, for an example, my due date being 30th September, for just for an example, there may be different due dates. If it has been paid up to 30th September, it should be considered as allowance and no disallowance should be attracted. So these are two important suggestions. Third important suggestion which we made, and which was not in regard to suggestion, but we have sought clarification. Wherein a separate representation was given because we are seeking a lot of clarifications on 43B. But most important clarification which was sought is how to identify for an assessee that my supplier is a micro, small, or medium enterprise. So this provision applies only to micro and small. So he may be registered with MSME. So what is the liability and how would I identify it? So you may clarify on that, because sometimes it may happen he may still be registered under MSME. He may be still showing himself as a small manufacturer, but ultimately based on his investments and turnover, he have actually become a medium, but he would have not updated that into the certificate. So what's the responsibility and what action a assessee should be done? So these are two or three important basic clarifications which have been sought, and they've assured us that they will look into it. Obviously, they will take views of the MSME ministry also before doing any changes. So meanwhile, obviously, these are representations which Institute is doing regularly on behalf of various members and behalf of the various assessments, which we keep on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. But whether they will be considered or not, you cannot sit on that. Obviously, they have assured they will look into it, but that does not mean that it will be considered positively also. Because ultimately, idea is to protect MSME. If you see that this provision has been brought to protect the MSME, my request to all the participants and audience would be to actually promote this. There may be an impact of the cash flow. I'm sure Ankur would be covering that in that detail, and I would not like to actually jump in his area. But very shortly, only one thing which I can say, this cash flow impact is also one time. I don't know whether I'm right or not. Ankur may have done a more detailed analysis on that, and possibly if he proves me wrong, I would be the most happy one. But if the disallowance happens this year on March 24, obviously on the payment that would be allowed. So if the purchases of March 24 are disallowed, but in March 25, I would be disallowed March 25 purchases, but March 24 purchases would be allowed during that moment of time. So there would be timing and leading. So there is some additional payment of tax which will happen to this year. But obviously, if it is 100% disallowance, 30% tax could be equivalent to more than your profits also sometimes. So your computation would actually, you may be in loss or you may be having a profit of 1 lakh, but actually your computation may jump into maybe 6 digits or 7 digits also for that matter, if your purchases are very high and the payments are not happening. So I'm sure eMSME Ankush Jain, I know he represents, we are also, Institute is also trying to look into certain offers which they have made, which could be the benefit to the chartered accountants members. I'm sure that will also help them. And he may help that if you can help the assessees basically to manage their cash flows. I think so. A lot of difficulties which assessee are facing, they will come out of it, and the fear will go. Ultimately, if this provision sails through in the manner, in the form which it is, still they would be happy with it. So with this background, once again, I would thank you, Viraj. Thank you very much for giving this opportunity. Ankur and Sachin, you are doing a great job. Please keep it up and just keep doing this regular webinars. I know, Viraj, you are doing this webinar since a long time. I know you 5 years, 6 years. Maybe more, but at least I remember maybe at least from 2017-18, I'm seeing you doing this webinars, and it's a great job of sharing the knowledge to the various members and participants. So thank you very much once again. Very good evening.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, if you would like to address members about some of the activities also. Yes, Ankush.
Sir, I have interacted with you, national head of MSME, and few of the other stakeholders of that MSME Bazaar concept. So we have just tried to understand the objective behind this 43BH and what the government actually wanted to have, and how they are actually empowering the MSME. So they suggested that this section itself has power to increase the Indian GDP by 1.5%. This is the circulation of fund will generate huge traction, the huge GST, the payment, the respect among the creditor and debtor will also increase, and the cost of production will also reduce by around 5 to 7% if that provision implemented properly. So they also suggested only few large players are actually spoiling micro and small segment because of violating this section. But if this section gets implemented in true sense and spirit, it can be the revolutionary in nature. Because सर एक सिंपल एग्जांपल से उन लोग ने समझाया ऐसा कि आप मान लीजिए कि वड़ा पाव वाला 1,000 रुपए का सामान लेता है और 2,000 रुपए का बेच देता है। यदि वो सेम चीज दिन में 2 बार कर पाएगा तो 1,000 की जगह 2,000 का सामान लेगा और 4,000 रुपए में बेचेगा। तो उसका यदि चर्निंग ऑफ फंड बढ़ गई तो एंटायर इकोनॉमी कैन बूस्ट एंड एवरीवन in the ecosystem will have the win-win arrangement because of this section. डेटर्स टाइम पे आ गए पैसा तो उनकी भी रिस्पेक्ट बढ़ जाएगी और सारे ड्यूज पे कर दिए, पेनाल्टी भी नहीं लगी, अपने जो सारे गवर्नमेंट ड्यूज भी पे कर दिए टाइम के लिए, तो उससे सारे बिजनेस की रेटिंग बढ़ जाएगी और उससे अल्टीमेटली रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट भी कम हो जाएगा. So there were a few brainstorming session on this which happened, which made me realize that if we support and promote this section as it has a revolutionary impact in itself. और गवर्नमेंट वैसे भी फॉर्मलाइज करने के लिए, इकोनॉमी को फॉर्मलाइज करने के लिए स्मार्ट इनवॉइसिंग भी 500 करोड़ से शुरू करके फिर 200 पे लेके आई, 100 पे लेके आई, 50 पे, 20 पे और 5 करोड़ के ऊपर एनुअल टर्नओवर पे स्मार्ट इनवॉइसिंग मैंडेटरी कर दिया इनवॉइसिंग. दिस ईयर अगेन जो गवर्नमेंट का सुनने में आया कि वो 1 करोड़ के ऊपर करने वाले हैं. तो वो हर तरीके से सारे एमएसएमई को फॉर्मलाइज करने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं ताकि एक्सपोर्ट कॉम्पिटिटिव भी बन पाए, और ऐसे काफी सारे इम्पैक्ट उन्होंने बताया. आई जस्ट वांटेड टू हैव योर व्यूज कि आप लोग के भी इस टाइप के बात चल रही है, और इफ यू कैन वैलिडेट और these views, or if these views are not correct, then please also suggest.
No, Ankush, you are definitely right. As I said earlier also, this is for the protection of MSME, and definitely what a crude example you have given, that if my cash flow is faster, I can do a business at least double. And most importantly, in the country where we know that still the MSME are ruling the business, and we want to actually promote MSME. The government is not in a favor of concentration of business or the manufacturing activity on the big players. They want to support MSME, and this is a superb step which I believe is to protect MSME. But at the same time, of course, when you talk of a disallowance provisions, in the first go it can become a harsh. So that's why whether it could have been issued in the phased manner or not. And when we make a representations, we were never of the view that this provision should go away. This provision should continue because it is for the benefit of MSME, which they are not understanding today possibly. They are saying to us that because we are registered as MSME, some big corporates, big vendors who were placing order with us, now they are not placing. So it's also getting backfired at some point of, that's their worry. But obviously whenever something new comes and some particular sector or certain community has been tried to be protected, that would be starting getting problems to it. But as rightly mentioned by you, very well, that there is a more benefit out of it, and they should actually continue with it. If for a time being, the provisions, the penal provisions, I would say, the disallowance of 100%, which is quite harsh, if it can be little reduced to a certain extent, that's what I believe industry also feels. Over a period of time, once they get used to it, so my cash flow of 30 rupees, instead of 30 rupees, now my cash flow would be of rupees. If 50% is accepted, so I get a leverage of 21 rupees over a period of time. I think so I would be also ready for 100% disallowance. So that would be my view. Obviously, MSME ministry is very stringent. If you ask me personally, my view also would be that possibly they may not get any relief. Maximum what relief they may be, that it may be deferred for some time, but I would feel it should not be deferred in my personal opinion. If it has come, let it come. Whatever relaxation can be given in terms of penal provisions. When I talk of penal, disallowance provisions, that would be
Yeah,
enough. That's all.
the rationalization should happen over there, especially the interest disallowance. That can be deferred for some time.
Correct.
Yeah, and
Right.
Piyush, I think
Right. That's all.
has been having this opinion, and I know very initially, I think a few months back, I had a chat with Piyush, especially around this section itself, and how he's viewing, because there were certain questions that were coming up from CS from all quarters, and also from certain certain sector. If I have to specify, it is you are in Surat, so textile sector definitely was one of those which definitely has longer payable cycles. So how and what should be done. But I think all valid points, and the as he rightly pointed out, it would lead to some amount of pain initially, at least, because it would also create a cash constraint on the other side. But it might be having a cyclic effect, and maybe initially the penal provisions, if they are reduced a bit, so that people get used to it, and then it goes to 100% subsequently, that might be a better solution.
Correct.
Thank
Yes.
thank you, Sachin bhai, thank you, Ankush bhai. Piyush sir would like to request you to inform members about the institute activity. If you can briefly inform to the members, that will
Sure,
also
Viraj.
be great.
Sure, Viraj. So of course, the institute is doing a lot of activities. As you know, the new course has come. Institute is working on that new course. First examination under the new course is already undergone. You are appearing. One paper of final and one paper of inter is over. Institute has also decided to come with the 3 examinations in case of foundation and inter. So the September also there would be an examination, and the 3rd examination would be in January for foundation and inter. And then there would be a final examination will continue as it is in May and November. So that's the one important area which all are aware of. As far as I would restrict myself to direct tax committee, being a member of being a chairman of the direct tax committee, and this is also once again a very important committee. Institute generally, as you know, for the purpose of the members, that is the chartered accountant members who are involved into audit and assurance and who are certified from 3CD, Institute periodically comes with a guidance note on tax audit. Now, this guidance note on tax audit has been revised periodically also to incorporate the changes which are made through Finance Act. Last year it was revised in 2023 to incorporate all the changes made in Finance Act 2023. Now, this year, because there is no budget, there is no revision happening. But after 1st July 2024, if there are major changes, we may try to revise it, or we may come with some implementation guide or some supplementary guide on those changes which are made in the budget, because there would be very short time, because the tax audit date is September. But meanwhile, as you are aware, there is already certain changes made in Form 3CD, which is in respect of 43 capital B and some other changes also. So the institute has already decided, under the guise of direct tax committee, we will be coming with an implementation guide on revision in Form 3CD, which will include and try to address all the issues in relation to the specific 43 capital B, the seminar for which this has happened. It will try to answer, it will be in the FAQ format also to a certain extent, and it will try to answer and address the members' issue basically. What would an auditor, a chartered accountant member, when he's actually discharging his audit function, what he is required to do, it will address, because it's an implementation guide for the members of the institute. So this is the one thing which will be coming up maybe in another month or 2 months time, before you actually start certifying Form 360. Secondly, as you know, there is also a lot of changes happening in audit of charitable institutions. Provisions were amended since 21. A lot of amendments have taken place, and most important being Form 10B and 10BB. That is an audit report issued by the chartered accountants, was amended last year. You have already issued, the person who have already done audit of charitable institution, they have issued the audit report in the new form last year also. But last year we came with an implementation guide. We could not come with a guidance note. Now, what is difference between implementation guide and guidance note? Very shortly, implementation guide is recommendatory in nature, whereas guidance note, though recommendatory, is mandatory in nature. So if there is a guidance note on a particular subject, particular audit subject, the member is expected to follow that. And if he's not following that, then he has to document that what are the other procedures he has followed. So it's a very important. For coming with the guidance note, institute has to come with an exposure draft, which takes time. It's a public exposure, and you take a views of all the general public from the various stakeholders, government bodies, and then you finalize it. So it takes 3 to 4 months period, even after the first initial draft. So last year we could not come with a guidance note due to short period of time, and audit was supposed to be finalized in month of September, and after some extension up to October. So we came with an implementation guide which did not require exposure to the general public. Last year itself, we had decided to convert this exposure draft into a mandatory document, that is a guidance note. We have already worked. Now exposure draft is already made public 2 days before. My request to all the participants and members is that if you have any suggestions on Form 10B and 10BB, that is audit report to be issued in case of charitable institutions, please do write us to on dtc@icai.in, or you may respond to the emails, or you may respond to the website where this exposure draft is already placed, that is website of ICAI, and give your suggestions. We'll try to incorporate those suggestions, discuss those suggestions, and if it is actually an issue, we'll try to address those issues. Idea behind this guidance note would be that the members who are actually performing an assurance function can place reliance upon them and discharge their audit functions effectively. And every member across India are responding in a similar manner based on my guidance. So these are the two important things. Apart from third, just in continued, apart from this third aspect, in continuation of pre-budget memorandum, CBDT has also this time, Chairman promised us that we'll have a quarterly meetings this time. So you can, because what happens is we get a lot of representation from members in regard to the tax subjects, maybe the adjustments made in CPC, maybe issues in ITR filing. So what we do is we keep on representing in the written form on a monthly basis. So what CBDT suggested this time, to be more on a proactive basis, you keep on sending us the representation on monthly, but on a quarterly basis, let us sit together and try to resolve that, rather than you sending a representation on written. That's what we also wanted. Always we were sending written representation, but whether those were being actually considered or not. So this time proactively we requested them, even for the pre-budget, you please allow us to give the presentation physically, which they allowed for 90 minutes. And now they have also said that on a quarterly basis, we'll be keep on discussing this. So I'm sure there would be more involvement of the committee, more involvement of the members, by way of which whatever small representations are being made or escalated by members to the direct tax committee, that would be consolidated, compiled, and actually discussed in person with the CBDT. And I'm sure that would have a more impact or effect in the future when you see the amendments coming in. The most important example being the revision of Form 3CD. Actually 43B subclause H came in 1st April 23, but the Form 3CD was not revised. In fact, the representation was made by ICAI to revise Form 3CD and include in a particular clause, so that then only the auditor will be able to report. Otherwise, auditor may not report, and the purpose for which this disallowance provision has been brought may be lost, because somebody would file competition the way he feels. So these are 2 or 3 important things which I thought I will just cover up on the direct tax committee aspects. And other than that, obviously being a vice chairman of expert advisory committee, we keep on giving opinions on Indes. More last year we gave a record opinions 55 number in the history of institute in one particular year. All the largest corporates, public sector enterprise approach institute for any accounting issues in relation to India's implementation of India's. And this expert advisory committee, which consists of all the certain council members and technical experts who are involved day in, day out in drafting of India's, they discuss it, thread by discussion happens on that particular issue, and these opinions are issues. And these opinions are as good as a regulatory advisories, I would say. It becomes binding, and people are really worried when they actually approach for the opinion, what would be the opinion? That's the sanctity of those opinions. So those are 2 or 3 things which I thought I'll just briefly try to update the members who are present. And thank you very much, Viraj, once again.
Thank you so much, sir, for your wonderful address and also input about the institute activity, various activity, and the highly technical committee you are heading, as an expert advisory committee and a direct tax committee, which itself speaks about your technical knowledge on the subject. And that's why the president also has allocate both the committees, and you are doing a wonderful work, sir. We are always with you on all or your future endeavor as well, sir. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much, Viraj. Thank you, Viraj, Ankush, Sachin. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
So now we'll come back to the again technical session of our today is what Ankush sir is addressing. So Ankush bhai, you can continue the session. Over to you.
Surely. Little bit to more theory, then we'll go to practical scenario directly. Okay, we have already discussed this key reason why 80% businesses don't survive beyond 4 years. So if we are in the 5th year or beyond in our business, guys, then we have established our business already. Now it's our time to grow rapidly. Okay, so what are those reasons typically? Those are insufficient capital, or the lack of financial planning, or maybe the cash has been extracted out from the operating activity and put into the financing or the investment activity, or the pricing of our product or the service may not be adequate enough. Or again, we all have seen the what happened with Nokia and lot many other players who could not change with the time. This same happened with the CA fraternity people also, that who do not change along with the time, do not adopt the technology or the change forced by the system, environment, or anyone. If we are unable to adopt that, then also the chances that our business do not survive. Then again, poor cash flow management. The cost is high and rapid versus the revenue which is coming. So again, we are not supposed to do any kind of marketing and sales, but what we believe in the service industry, that whatsoever small or big project we have, if we deliver it with great quality, with dashboarding kind of arrangement of which typically Big Four or the McKinsey and BCG people used to do, and in the great turnaround time, then more and more project comes because of our quality deliverables within time. So that generate the peace of mind. So we are not supposed to do marketing sales, but yes, we can demonstrate our capability, ability, and basis that the high pricing will also be absorbed by those players. And again, the over reliance on the personal credit. So these are the typical reason for business failure. And if we work on it, these only can become our strength to succeed in our business. Okay. Then again, this also little bit we have discussed that if we get paid timely, then we can give a great amount of gratitude and respect to our debtors, and our creditors will also give that kind of value and will give that kind of discount in the form of cash discount for the product and services we take from them. So what are the things which we need to take care of? That a receivable, we need to keep a good eye on it. So Virag bhai, I would just like to suggest one template which every chartered accountant firm who is using either Tally or Excel can generate this kind of report for them, which will enable them to not only monitor but also analyze and take the decision timely for the debtor and creditor check. So just allow me a minute. I'll open that report as well. So there are n number of such tools available in the market. One of such tool is
want to interrupt. This report, what we have seen on screen, is also available on the handout section. Attendees can download from there as well. So please continue, sir.
Yep, thank you. So guys, all of us are, I'm sure we are using either Tally, most of us are using Tally or any other ERP software, or at least Excel में हम लोग accounting कर रहे हैं. So these are the simple Excel tool. You put in the data in the respective format, or if you're using Tally, there's one tool called Tally Connector, which extract the Tally data into the Excel, and through Excel, this report can be generated. Now this report, if we'll see on a daily basis, or if not daily basis, weekly, or if not weekly, at least fortnightly basis, it will give you good glimpse of your business. Like for that particular period, what is your turnaround, what are the receivables, what are the payables, what is the profit and loss for that period, and what is the liquidity, which is the topic of the today, cash flow. So if your cash flow is a little less, and the payable are high, then this is how you can analyze it. I'll quickly run you through this report. So this report will give you the month-on-month, product-wise turnover, the segment-wise turnover, your top 5 customer, your top 5, creditors, your top 5 expense. In expense also, I suggest we must do. Do you have this one? No, so so I think he does not have that downside slide. So this gives you the debtors aging and creditors aging also. Now this report in detail also suggests you the variance and trend analysis and the ratio analysis of all kind of expenses we are incurring on whatever frequency we choose. So month on month variance analysis we can do, and this actually help us to rationalize all our decision wherever we are spending more. Through rational, through variance and through ratio analysis, we can rationalize those expenses, and we can also do that ABC kind of analysis, that whoever product are actually generating month on month good return, or the talk of the town product or the hero product, we should focus much more over there instead of the other C kind of product or the services. Okay, so I'm going back to the presentation. If you guys have any question over here, feel free to ask that. But this is one of the very simple tool. Convert the tally data into the Excel using the tally connector, and put the data into the pre-filled format and generate this kind of report, which will empower you to analyze your data to arrive at a rational decision, or the timely decision what you need to take, keep taking. Okay, now again, the delayed receivable is through the debtors aging, we can negotiate the terms. Again, government is also trying to help us in various way, like we last time Virag bhai has arranged the Samadhan portal demonstration. So that was one of the best presentation I have also seen. It is again the simplest process, and fast turnaround happens because of the Samadhan. But let's assume that if we all or implement and help government to implement that section 43BH properly, then Samadhan will be of no use, because there won't be any delayed receivable only. So that is where we need to focus. Until then, our mutual relation with the debtor will prevail, that how we we need to term with them, so that our working capital cycle does not hamper. Again, one of the important point is the inventory mismanagement. मैं आपको अपने बचपन का एग्जांपल देता हूँ. मैं बिजनेस फैमिली को बिलोंग करता हूँ. हम 4 भाई हैं, और पापा हम भाइयों से ही झाड़ू पोंछा लगवाते थे हमारे सुपरमार्केट में. So he always asks us to do these tasks by yourself and do not depend on anyone else. Because आप जब करेंगे झाड़ू पोंछे, तो आपको पता रहेगा कौन सा सामान कहाँ पड़ा है, कौन सी ड्रॉर में कहाँ है, कोई पुराना तो नहीं हो रहा है, आउटडेटेड तो नहीं हो रहा है, आउट ऑफ फैशन तो नहीं हो रहा है, और जिसकी डिमांड ज्यादा है, whether you have that inventory sufficiently available in your stock or not. So those kind of stuff. So they are, again, n number of inventory management tools are also available, which we guys can use. Now, one trend what we have observed, that there are different segment of chartered accountant or the finance professional. There are a bunch of professional only are using the high tech tool, whether it is related to the receivable tool or the inventory management tool or for the cash management tool. But guys, the cost is very low, but and benefit are much higher. So if we all start using the tool, we won't only able to help managing our cash flow, but we'll also be able to empower the MSME or the other clientele we are servicing. So I suggest that let's let all be the tech friendly, let all use those small tool, and let's go ahead on it. Then again, over reliance on debt. Now this feature we will see in our balance sheet as well as our client balance sheet. So I want talk much on it. We all are the professional community members, so we all know this. Okay, the unfavorable financial ratio, again, those tool will give you the various kind of ratio, trend, and variance analysis. They will also suggest you what is the red, green, or amber flag, and where we need to, what precaution we need to take it upon. And that all will help us in the planning. The word is used, the lack of planning, because we believe that planning to fail is equal to fail. Failure to plan is equal to planning to fail. So it's better to plan, and lack of planning should not, there will be a theme only. Now, guys, these are the ways to improve the cash flow, not only in a small business, but why we have mentioned a small business, because in India, 99% of the business community do fall under the micro segment. So the turnover of up to 5 crore, official in the white channel I am talking about. Otherwise, we know that our Indian cash economy is much bigger than the white economy. So that also maybe because of the government initiative of formalizing the economy, or maybe because of the ONDC or OCAN framework, or maybe because of the account aggregator or a smart invoicing tool, or simply because of the wisdom, those things can be of our past. More and more we will be educating ourselves and empowering ourselves. We'll understand that becoming a part of formal economy can generate true wealth without any fear. So again, these are the ways to improve the cash flow for a small businessman, like optimal utilization of the terms and condition which we deal with our receivable and payables. So those favorable terms and condition can we negotiate and can be optimized. Then we can definitely, and we must definitely leverage on 1,000+ government schemes to generate front end cash for us. To give you few example, if we or our clientele are doing manufacturing business and they are having investment in plant and machinery, then there are government scheme which give upfront subsidy, and also subsidy over the period starting from 35% up to 100% of that investment in plant and machinery. But maybe because of the lack of awareness, we do not use it. Then again, they are we ourselves and our client exhibit in lots of exhibition in India and abroad. In one of the reimbursement scheme, government offer up to 1.5 lakh or 80% of the cost, whichever is lower, as a reimbursement. But again, many of us is not availing it. There are n number of government grant and n number of skill awareness, skill and this marketing technology support program generated by government. So if we guys keep ourselves aware about the government scheme and its benefit, then we can surely leverage on it, and that we can help ourselves and our client at the front end. Front end fund support is what professional community must help themselves and their client, and it will resolve the cash flow issue to a big extent. Then again, manage inventory and asset acquisition. The illiquid asset should be postponed till the time our operating activity are not sufficiently generating cash, and our expansion is also not happen to the decent level. We should focus more on the operating activity only. Then again, the other rationale based on the trend analysis, ratio analysis can be done by all of us. The tools are available. So these are the tools, guys, which I was talking about. You can Google it, and you can take a demo of it. You can test it, and once you are comfortable, then you can utilize in your daily life. Once you are comfortable, you can ask your clientele also to use these tools. So those tools are Cashflow.io, which is a comprehensive platform designed for effective cash management. Then again, there's a Juggle platform and Cashflow platform. Again, the e-expert report which I showed you, that is the tool of eMSME. So with this, guys, my topic is over, but I'm open for all the question and whatever interaction we wish to have with each other to understand any concept which we have talked or any other concept in detail. So Shukriya Virag bhai, this session is over. Now I am open to the question and answer.
Thank you so much. So friends, PPT is available in the handout section. Would like to request everyone to post your question if you have any in the question tab. We'll take one by one. Will also available to unmute you and you can ask the question on that. And directly you can communicate with the today's speaker Ankush Jain ji if you have any question on the topic.
There are n number of tools available at free of cost also. We just need to explore it.
Yes. So I think we don't have any question as of now.
Topic is self-explanatory and everyone from the finance fraternity understands this concept.
Yes. Absolutely. So all are waiting. We have a question from Radheshyam Agrawal ji. Notification to amend could be issued to provide relief. And one more question from the same participants that even in government they are not releasing the payment on its contract work. So this two question is there, that notification to, I think, but Piyush sir is already informed that there may be a no relief and there's a beneficial provision for the MSME. But yes, the second question what you are asking, that government is not releasing the payment in contract work. So what can be a relief in that aspect?
If you see during the COVID time, no, government Nirmala Sitharaman has ensured that within 10 to 15 days all government dues should get paid. So that momentum has come that point of time, but again it got diluted. But this provision is applicable to even the government. If they are also delaying, they are also supposed to pay you the interest. And the system is improving. What we have visualized, the system has improved. The Samadhan query also resolved very, as compared to earlier, in a very fast and rapid manner. Government is also trying to clear out their dues quickly. But yes, obviously the system is yet not robust enough. But one of the parties is government itself.
Yes, Ankush bhai. So I'm just looking that we have a live session on LinkedIn and the YouTube as well. There are also few comments. One from Satish ji, that MSME needs support whenever they are in difficulty. There was a notification that if there is a judge, the bankers must create a committee and try to mitigate the problem. However, bankers never do that, and DRT is not considering about this notification for the MSME sector. So this is a comment we received, but we don't have anything relating to this, so we can skip that as well.
Virag bhai, the way institute is representing themselves to the government, we are also submitting a number of research paper to Ministry of MSME, Ministry of Finance. So basis those comments, we can research further and we can submit our research paper to these ministries.
Right. So thank you so much, Ankush bhai, for your detailed analysis on the topic. This will really help the MSMEs in a long way for their cash flow management, and they will reach the new height in their businesses. So with this remark, we can conclude our today's session, and we can thank all our participants for making the webinar successful by active participation. And we also thank to the Piyush Chhajed sir for the wonderful keynote address and the activities the institute is doing for the benefit of students and members. So thank you all of you. Thank you Ankush bhai, thank you Sachin bhai, and thank you Parag as well for all the coordination. Friends, you can download the PPT and the e-expert report from the handout section, and you can subscribe the eMSME, all the handles, social media handles, particularly Instagram, for the small bite of a knowledge sharing session on the MSME sector. Thank you. Thank you once again. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, Virag bhai. Thank you so much.
Thank you.